Welcome back to DIY Wood Revival. I'm Fabian. In this video I'm going to show you how I built this DIY sauna. Let's get started. So this pile of timber here is going to turn into a sauna just there, hopefully. A bit of a problem with the ground, it's a bit sloped downwards just here, but we'll figure that out. I'm going to have a little window looking out that way, so I can look out in the paddock, see the bloody calves having a feed. The idea. Alright, let's get into this framing. All the timber I'm using I got from the local hardware store. Grab the best stuff they had. Nothing fancy, just solid and straight, which is all you really need for a sauna. I've never really done any framing before, so I'm just figuring this out as I go. I'm using screws to attach everything together, and I'll make two sections and then attach them together. I'm under no illusion, this is not going to be perfect, but it'll be good enough for me. I'm going to put this together in a way that it comes apart easily or in sections, so that if I want to move it or need to move it, I can easily without having to crane it. It won't be attached to the ground either, it'll just be sitting on some blocks or something. So I've built the two main frames, front and back, and now I'll do the floor and then the roof to tie it all together, and then add the side walls. It's a bit hard doing this by myself, but I'm making it work. Originally I was going to have the door on one side and then the window on the other, but as I was putting it together I was like, you know what, it would be nice if the door and window are both on the same side facing the paddock. And like this I have to do less framing, which is also a positive. Alright, I got the framing done. See, just got the extra supports there just to hold it all up. I'm sort of just making it up as we go, but I'm going to do the floor next. So kind of going with the exterior on the floor, and then I'll do the interior walls. And then add the insulation with the exterior walls last. Next to the floor, and then I'll put some lining, moisture barrier, and the internal walls. And then put hanging on the inside. This wall here will be where the door is, that's why there's no framing there. I haven't actually got a door yet, or decided to make a door or what. I kind of want to add a window as well, so figure that out in a second. So before I put the flooring in, I put up the moisture barrier on the walls, just so that the edge is tucked underneath the floor. Here you can see me adding some double-sided tape to the framing, so that when I put up a moisture barrier it sticks to it. The moisture barrier is just going to stop the steam getting into the insulation and causing mold. And I'll do all four walls and the roof, but I'm not going to do the floor, so that any moisture or water I spill or whatever can just soak straight out the bottom. Alright, that's three sides boxed off. I'll tap the floor in next. Probably put the insulation or the moisture barrier on the roof later on. We won't do it yet. Make a hot box in there. Seal up the corners there. Use some of this Gorilla tape. That's pretty good. Hopefully it does the job. So I'm going to be using this grip tread radiator pine as my lining for the interior. Do all the walls a bit, the roof, floor. I'll probably make the bench out of it as well, that'll sit there. And then for the exterior, I haven't decided yet. Yeah, the stuff's pretty good. It's only a couple bucks a metre. I'm leaving a gap between each board so that any water can escape and it just breathes a bit better. I pre-drilled all the holes before screwing all the boards in place, just to make sure that I didn't split any of these boards. You're probably wondering why I'm using pine instead of oak or whatever saunas are supposed to be made out of. It's because this pine is cheap as, whereas oak costs a fortune. Walls up next. I pressed everything together as hard as I can to get a tight fit, so there's no gaps at all on the walls. I'm not sure why I did the interior before the exterior. Just made more sense in my head, I guess. Worked out alright in the end though. Sweet as, it's got three sides, well two sides really, on the floor. All panelled up, another board put up here, board put up there. I'll do that once I've done the lining across the top. Actually, right now panelling, my local hardware store expecting something short to have to fix this up. But in the meantime, I'm going to do this front wall, frame it out, because it's got me a window that's supposed to be horizontal, I'll chuck it vertical. So the door's going to go in that corner, and then window just there, and stick across there. You can look out the window and the paddock and look at the little carbs and whatnot. Sit in the sauna. I used the same timber to frame out this last section of wall for the door and window. And this last bit of framing has really made it a lot more solid as well. There we go, that's all the interior panelling on now. That's looking happy there. I've been jumping around a bit, but not much connection over here. Spending hours accordingly doing the panelling. Next I'm going to do the bench seat across there. So I'll frame that up. Probably could have lots of those walls to get there. But that's framing in there, and then got the bench seat. And then afterwards I can do some trim around the edges. Not too bad, but little gaps here in the corners. But not real nice. Then once I've got the bench there, I'll work on the area. So I'm framing up the bench seat with the same timber as I used on the walls and floor. I'm screwing it straight into the grip tread floor here. Feels solid enough to survive me sitting down on it, so it should be CS. Once I had all the framing done, I gave it a quick test, which turned into a long test as I pondered, what am I doing? I'm going to add the panelling next. I went vertical on these, mainly because I had a bunch of offcuts that I wanted to use up, but also because I wanted to break up the monotony of the long horizontal boards. And then I went with the same direction on the top with a long edge board running across the sauna. That's the bench seat done. Just got to get along the edge trim there for it. 2 meter lengths, took one of those. Put the last piece in now. Oh, look at that. That is how good. Goes together. Okay, bench seat pretty much done. So that last little trim bit to go on the end. Need another 2 meter length of that panelling, or decking rather. In the meantime, a few other little jobs I can do today. And install these lights. I'm no sparky, so I'm just going for a plug-in one, so for any sort of wiring. I'll mount them up there, and then to get it through onto the other side, I can just take the board off and swap the cable through it and put it back on. Yes. Nice and easy install. For the black, I'm going to go black, all the fittings, the door handle and whatnot. It's quite nice and modern. And probably take the outside black as well. Grey. I've got some grey paint. It's not anthracite grey, it's grey fire. Alright, time for some lighting. I went with these black stereo lights, honestly, just because they look modern as and they match the whole vibe I'm going for. They're waterproof too, so they won't freak out when the steam hits them. They just screw straight into the internal panelling, nothing fancy. Give off a nice warm glow. Warm white? Warm, whatever the fancy term is. It looks cozy and that's all that matters. Now I'm doing the roof insulation. This is natural wool insulation, super easy to work with. Probably didn't need to wear a respirator, but you know, I like pretending I'm on some sort of health and safety poster sometimes. It wasn't itchy at all, so that's always a bonus. I stuffed each piece in nice and tight and added another layer of moisture barrier over the top to keep everything sealed and dry. Next up, the roofing. I used sheet iron for this and I got 3 sheets. Luckily it came in 2 meter length, which was perfect for what I needed, so I didn't have to do any cutting. These screw straight down into the framing. Super simple, super quick, and honestly it's one of the most satisfying parts of the build. And here's me putting on the last sheet of iron. I'm standing on the roof while I'm doing it. As you can see, it's pretty strong. I'm about 115 kgs and it seems to be able to support me, so hopefully it doesn't blow away. Once the roof was sorted, I moved on to the front wall, the biggest one. I trimmed all the insulation to size and stuffed it in as tight as I could. It gets a nice snug fit, which is exactly what you want. Then covered the whole thing with a moisture barrier to seal it all up. The top flap of the roof moisture barrier meets the top of the wall barrier, so I just ran a tape straight across to lock everything in. No moisture getting through this thing. The other 3 walls are the same deal. Just trimmed everything up and packed it all in super snug. It's repetitive, but it's kind of satisfying watching it all come together. Time to start lining the outside. I'm using treated structural plywood, about 7 or 8 mil thick, I can't remember. I ripped a section off each sheet so that the joint ends up right in the middle of the wall. I'm just screwing everything on, nothing overthought here. Once I had the first sheet up, I did the same on the other walls. I know what you're thinking, this is just going to look like a giant plywood box. But just hang in there a minute, I've got a plan, it's all going to work out, trust me. Now for the flashing, just covering the top corner where the roof meets the plywood so no water can sneak in. I had this old bit of metal flashing lying around, it's a bit bent and beat up, but honestly that gives it some character. I'm cutting it with snips, which, let's be honest, no one enjoys. But they do the job. I bent into shape, screwed it into place, and it was good to go. With this last piece of flashing yarn on, that should keep her pretty watertight. Well, except for where the window and door are supposed to go. But other than that, she should be watertight. Now for paint, I went for grey fires because I already had a couple of litres sitting in the shed. Perfect match with the car shed too, so I'm calling that Design Synergy. Instead of I couldn't be bothered buying more paint. It's water based as well, so I thinned it out a little, just enough to help it roll on easier. Rolling the walls was sweet as, but on the roof I had to use a brush and get up there and do it the old school way. That old corrugated iron makes it a bit hard to roll. Before I installed the window, I taped up the glass and gave the frame a quick spray. I just used this electric sprayer I had. It's way easier to do it now than afterwards. I don't want to get overspray on the inside of my sauna. With a couple of coats of paint on, the window slid straight into place, or at least I tried to. Didn't quite fit the last bit. No stress though. An old trick I've got. A block of wood and a hammer, a couple of gentle love taps, and she went straight in perfect. Simple solution to a simple problem. Went over the frame with another coat of paint and a brush just to touch up any scratches from that really good install.
There we go, it's looking pretty good. Got all the trimming. Looks professional as. And on the other side, and the window there, and the door now. Almost there. Let's do a bit of trim on the window as well. I'll throw some trim up that edge there. Put the joint over the plywood in the centre. Put on the door, and away laughing.
Next up, framing the door. Same material as the interior paneling, that grip treat stuff.
So these are going to be my door. It's going to be classic barn door style. Now I'm not sure what it's called actually, I did read it. It's sort of pre-oiled and whatnot. Wasn't special. That'll do. Different tones to mix it up a bit. It's going to be 640 mils wide. 4.5 boards. I got spare ones on the across. Strengthen it on the back. Because it's an angle door as well. I'll put it together and then I'll trim the edge last. clamp it up and screw it. There's gaps up right now. Some biscuits. So, and with 3 horizontal cross pieces on the back to hold everything together. I used the bar clamps to squeeze it real tight, and then I glued and screwed the horizontal sections on. The boards had a bit of bow to them, pretty normal, but once the clamps were on, it straightened them out nicely. Still ended up with a couple of tiny gaps between the boards, but to be honest, I think it adds character, and it's a sauna, not a spaceship, so we should be alright.
I was recording before I made that cut, but came up fresh as Dor's mint of that colour. Just a couple of little cracks of light just there, but the rest of them too tight.
I am going to add the handle now, so it's going to be easier while it's like this, right? Hanging on the hinges. I went for this fancy looking black situation. It's nice. That goes in there, in there. And then there's a latch obviously that goes there on the other part of the door, and you can open it to both sides. It's a bit stiff, but I'm sure we'll loosen it. There you go, it's loose already. The little bar through the middle, long. I'll attach it and then trim off what I want to. There you go.
Before I could attach the latch, I had to attach a backing board, which was just one of the offcuts.
So there is my issue, got the back side on, offside. But the gap there, I don't really want to put borders in, so I like to clean it off with just straight boards. So, I'm going to have to get the old angle grinder out, take about 25mm off the side of the middle.
That looked pretty cool, eh? A little slow-mo with the sparks. Cinematic masterpiece. Once I trimmed that bar down, the latch went together easy as. Couple of screws, it was done.
That's the latch sorted. Next, the hinges. There's nice black ones, but I'm into this. I'm a big fan of black hardware. Just looks nice, not just slick. I'm going to attach them to the door first. 4 of them going for this way to the door, and the door's not that thick, so I can use slightly smaller screws that it came with. So I've gone for just to spread out this pressure and weight. I'll attach it to here, down, slap it on the side of the sauna, attach them, get it all right.
To install these hinges, I marked them out evenly along the edge and then pre-drilled the holes and screwed them in. Easy as that. Moment of truth. Dragging the door down to the sauna to see if it even fits. And, unbelievably, it does. That angle cut across the top actually lines up mint. Now I'm just screwing the hinges into the frame to lock the door in place. I had one board spare from the door build, so I split it in half and ran a piece down each edge of the doorway. This just makes everything look a bit more finished. Hinges go on one side, latch on the other, clean and simple. Chuck a little back door stop on the outside as well, so the door can't whip around and smack into the window. Matches the rest of the hardware too, so bonus points.
So to make all the trim, well, for the window and the interior, I took one of those boards that I was using to line the interior, just ripped the edge piece off. Then to make these corner bits, took the board, ripped it down the middle, and then chucked a 45-degree cut on the inside, and a nice little 45 angle. Right now, So again, it's movable. They even need to move it.
This trim just tidies up all the edges and hides all the joints. A few screws in each one and it instantly looks a whole lot more finished. Amazing what a bit of trim can do. Right, that's trim all done. Really breaks up the solid wall of rain. Last few bits, I'm going to have a little solar light up here somewhere. Little security light. Dark. Got a timer of 10 minutes for a little bit. Check one of those up. Got a 15-minute timer. Thermostat. And a couple of hooks go on the outside. Put it over here, I guess. Or towels or whatever. And then we're done. So close, I can feel it. Oh, I'm so excited to use this. Oh, and I got this modern looking little water bucket. Yes, I do like that. Better than just the standard wood. Pop the little solar security light above the window. Nothing fancy, just enough so I can see what I'm doing at night. I added a towel hook. I had two of them, but honestly there's not a heap of space there and I didn't want the door to swing around and smack into one. So I just used one. Right, time to mount the sauna heater. This is a 6 kilowatt unit, plenty strong enough for this small space. Just screws straight into the wall framing. I used 4 decent screws to hold it up and then added a couple of extra safety ones just in case. I ran all the wiring myself beforehand, but I did get a sparky to hook it up to both ends. No point risking frying myself or burning the house down just to save $100. He came in and made it all legit and then we're ready to go. Final job, loading the sauna stones. And yeah, apparently you can't just grab some random rocks from the river. Turns out the wrong stones can literally explode, so yeah, I went with proper ones. And with that, I'm done. Time for the reveal. So this ended up taking a lot longer than I expected, and it turned out a lot bigger than I anticipated. And it cost a bit more than I anticipated, but the end result was all worth it. I'm stoked how this came out. I love that contrast of the door and the internal paneling. Been using it for a week or so now, and I think I've decided I'm going to add an extra level of seating so you can be a bit higher and get more heat. How good is that? Stoked how this came up. Works amazing as well. Like it heats up in like 10-15 minutes. Jumps up to like 60 degrees. As soon as I start putting water on the stones, it really gets you sweating. Makes me sleep real good as well. Have a sauna every night before I go to bed. Out. Yeah. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more DIY wood revival content. Thanks for watching.